we've often asked our guests if there's even just one thing. It was really funny. I was watching some of the Sean Hannity show last night, right as he was ready to pass it on to Laura Ingraham. And Laura Ingraham said what we've been saying, Mike. Hannity, she says, is there even one thing, just one thing that this Biden-Harris administration has done well? I'd ask you that, Kingsley. Is there even one thing you can see that they've done even marginally well?
Oh, goodness. There's not much that comes to mind, to be honest with you.
It's awful. Here we are talking about the president of the United States and his partner who couldn't even get enough votes to stay in the Democrat primary. And here we are talking about them having to face off with Russia's Putin as he's invading Ukraine, as President Xi is probably going to do the same thing to Taiwan. And these are the two people that we have to basically, like you said, they're like completely feckless. I don't know what's worse than feckless, but I mean, it's just, it breaks my heart because we're all counting on them. And this is our country. This is what we all believe in. I mean, freedom and opportunity, and it's in their hands right now. This is scary.
And I'm going to say one thing before you comment on that, Kingsley. I think the worst thing that this president and this administration has done was bringing Kamala in, right? I mean, it is proven day in and day out, every time she opens her mouth, oh my God, this woman does not belong in the role she's in, right? And it's strictly, I mean, again, Mike said it, she got low totals in the primary, but it's also, she was never polished enough to be in this role that she's in right now. We all knew it 36 months ago, right? When this whole process, I mean, that might be the worst thing, because at least if he had a competent vice president, and I don't care, pick anybody on that side that you want, but if it was someone that was at least competent, we wouldn't look so shot. I mean, we have a president that can barely, I don't know, read off a teleprompter. If you saw him yesterday, he was an hour and 22 minutes late for a 4-minute speech and could barely read. And then you have her who goes to the other, into Europe, and she has a speech. And you're like, those words don't go together. You gotta have better transitions and better sentences to get. I mean, it's really, really bad, and it's really, really sad, like Mike said.
Certainly. And I think that the most damning thing that Vice President Harris did was during her run, when she was campaigning, when she donated to the Minnesota Bail Fund, right? I think that she in many ways has kind of encouraged and facilitated a lot of this lawlessness that we're seeing across blue cities in particular. And I think that her efforts have kind of hamstrung a lot of policemen across the country because they're now so concerned with woke politics, right? So many of these police departments are so concerned with woke politics that they're not enforcing the law anymore. And order is falling apart so fast. I was reading an article just the other day that in Atlanta, murder has risen in the last year alone by 43%. So I live here in New York. Crime is skyrocketing here as well. So you see so many cities across the country that are just plagued by crime, plagued by lootings and lawlessness. And I think that people like Vice President Harris should really have to answer for a lot of that, right? Because they bailed out violent criminals and sided with violent criminals. And that was really to the detriment of the American people and American communities all across the country. But I think that the reason that someone as, lackadaisical and abysmal and awful as Kamala Harris is able to kind of rise to the rank of vice president in the United States is because the left is so obsessed with race, right? They're so obsessed with meeting these quotas that so often we get what I like to kind of refer to as affirmative action hires, right? People are hired for the color of their skin as opposed to the content of their character or their record. And that's, the opposite of what trailblazers like Martin Luther King had envisioned for this country. But unfortunately, the left has almost backtracked on this, which is just, I think, really a shame for our country.
And you're almost doing a disservice to that community when you do that, right? You're force placing people. You're not choosing. Look at. She is obviously not fit for this job and never was. And everybody with a brain knew it. Even the left, when he picked her, were like, wait a minute, what's going on here, right? Even the left knew it. I think that's the saddest thing. And Mike and I say this all the time, being, self-employed business owners. I don't care what color someone is, what gender someone is. what their hobbies are. If you're a good person, you're a hard worker, come on board. I'll hire you in a second. If you're the best fit for that job, it doesn't matter. And that's how we need to look at things. It's not about race. It's not about gender. It's about people doing the job and getting the job done right and taking pride in what they do. At the end of the day, that's it. It doesn't matter who you are.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. They need to like beer and chicken wings, but other than that, we'll
in Buffalo, yeah, you got to have chicken wings on your recipe. You got to like chicken wings. That's right.
Yeah.